There will be copious swearing, but no singing, is my understanding.
Fair.
Unless it's original. Yeah, unless it's original. Has to be original song.
So this scene is a nice callback to the first film, and actually something that I pitched Matthew very early on.
Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn, producer, writer, and director of the first film.
I'm alive.
Was it weird to shoot this scene, Chloe, given that you did it the first time with Nick?
It was weird being on the other side of the gun. That's for sure. Shooting it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting being able to be the one that talks about the handgun bullet and stuff. And
I love this moment here.
Running
Did you
through
guys just see that feather that Aaron blew up?
It's
there?
amazing.
CGI?
That was a great moment.
That's an example of a moment totally not planned. It just happened.
It's a CGI feather.
And Aaron Taylor Johnson made it one of my favorite moments in the movie. Were you nervous?
Little squibs in the coat that I was wearing, and it blows out at the same time, so it looks awesome.
Is that a pink pony bag she's wearing? Nice backpack. Thanks.
Morris Chestnut making his first appearance.
Yeah, Claudia Lee showing up as Brooke.
Clark Duke.
Excited to have Clark back. You know, I met with Clark before we started making the movie, and the first thing he said to me was, "Thank you. I finally get to be a superhero."
And then, yeah.
He was so pumped.
Oh, now, baby.
There you are. You've changed so much. You know, when I watched the first film, I feel like you were 11, but you look kind of like you're 9. And in this film, you were 15, and you look like you're about 19.
Yeah, completely.
And I looked 15 in the first movie and still look 15.
Still look 15. Chris, you'll get carded when you're like 45 years old.
Chris looked 12 in the first movie, and then he grew a beard.
There's
and
Dave
he
again.
looks 13.
13.
He looks 13.
It amazed me, Aaron, how you just looked like Dave again so immediately. Because when I met you, I was like, oh, this guy is... You know, he's not a teenager anymore. He's a man. He's got a family. And then you did the hair and put on the glasses, and boom, you're Dave again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice answer, Aaron.
I sort of transformed back into that spotty adolescent high school kid. Yeah.
In the 2 years since the first Ordinary...
Should we talk
It was
about
good fun,
that we couldn't get Evan Peters back, who was fantastic in the movie?
Well, you know that shot we just saw, that like 3 shot of you guys on the couch, is like one of the most complicated special effects shots in the movie, because we couldn't get Augustus, who is playing Evan's role in this film, and Clark on the set with Aaron the same day. So Aaron, do you remember that? We shot multiple passes of those guys sitting on the couch because Augustus and Clark weren't in the room together.
That's exactly right, yeah.
I just saw Chloe, your brother, get a producer credit.
Yeah.
Trevor.
T. Duke.
Nice shout out.
T. Duke Moretz.
Well earned. He was on set every day when you were working, doing
Always
his thing.
doing it. We got Adam, Tarquin, David.
Good guys.
Matthew Vaughn.
Mr. Vaughn. Back in the game with the suit.
Hey,
I
Jeff
wrote that.
Wideload.
Is it Wadlow or Wadlow?
It's wide load.
This is quite funny because this was actually a reshoot.
Jeff wide load.
This was like months
Yeah.
after, and that what I'm wearing there is a wig.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
You're wearing a wig and I'm wearing a wig. How funny is that?
I have practically different color hair.
No, but it's great because
See, the
I wouldn't even
underneath
tell.
right there is my hair color.
Those are really
That
fake
brown
bangs, aren't
underneath
they?
there. Totally fake bangs.
Yeah.
And also, this is the clip of Robin Wishes He Was Me. That's what they use in the trailer so much. And I was like, wow.
That was a reshoot scene?
Yeah, no,
There's a reshoot scene, dude.
Well, I rewrote that scene outside the school because, you know, initially Aaron came up to Chloe and said, I want to start a team. And there was some confusion when we showed the movie to audiences. They're like, a team, but it's just the 2 of them. So I like actually explained a team
There's, like,
Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin.
It came up with that Robin line, which...
Spell it out for people.
See, and that is not a wig.
Like something they use.
This scene is not a wig.
Not a wig, and not a wig on
and
me
you
either.
would never know. Wig, no wig, no real hair. So
Boom.
You should just
this
do
is where I trained for like 3 months, MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu.
And
Chloe
pretty much
flew
kicked your
in
ass.
like off another movie week before and just kicked the shit out of me all over the room.
Yep.
Yeah. And threw me all around. Look, watch this. Boom!
What's funny about that is
do.
you actually pause it. You can see there's no contact
Yep.
at all.
Of course.
With your man,
I was scared
man
to
parts.
get. I was scared to get too close.
I think you should do a special feature on all movies, Aaron, where you just say where there's a wig and there's not a wig.
Well, I keep getting asked.
No,
Even when I
wig, no
had
wig.
real hair, I was like, so, dude, is that a wig? But like, no, that's my hair, man. And like, oh, it sucks. And then, so it's funny because when we did reshoots, there's a couple scenes I'm going to point out the wig moments. So
Wig,
all the
no
wig
wig.
moments.
no wigs. I'll point out the
No
next
wig.
wig moment.
Here's another moment that was an accident, was your glasses getting fogged up.
That
They
was
got
totally-
steamed
And
up.
Chloe totally breaks character. Watch it. You almost look right at us.
I did.
because you were laughing so hard at Aaron.
I'm bad with that.
Yes, I did, Christopher.
That was the one with kick-ass.
How amazing was this house?
I love this. Just watch what she's putting in her blender. She's like, she cracks in like a raw egg, some like vitamins, and then she goes straight over to the cocktail bar and just pours
Yeah.
in vodka. I love it.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Breakfast of
I love that
Champions.
she came back and was able to do it, man.
Yeah.
She's
Had
so
to,
good.
man,
No, I mean, I
Also,
couldn't
did
imagine
Evan-
anyone else doing it.
The best is that line in the first one where he's like, I gotta go do business. She was like, do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta
Do
do.
what you gotta do. And that's it.
This
She's so
conversation
Johnny.
is over.
John Leguizamo.
So good that we
Leggies.
got him.
It's such a great introduction
Oh,
for his
yeah,
character,
genius.
too. I'm a huge
Later.
Johnny Legs fan.
I'm a huge fan of John's legs.
Like I'm a prisoner. You threw away my bread in this costume.
Those clavicles.
I wrote this because I have like
Jeez.
a weird fear of tanning beds.
Really?
After this, you
You
have
just
a
No,
weird
no, I wrote this because I have a weird fear of tanning beds. I think they're like, you're putting yourself basically in a microwave oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe people do that.
I don't
Sorry
think
to
you
all
should put
you.
yourself
Same as baking
in
in
a
the
tanning bed
sun.
anyway.
You're basting yourself with that oil they put on you and you just cook.
Yeah, yeah. The needle, nice little payoff from the first film for a scene that didn't make it into the first film.
Yeah.
If all else fails and you're about to die.
Aaron with some
jokes.
facial hair. Right? Got a little chin hair there.
Dave is growing up.
Dave is an adult.
I'm serious.
This is another scene that I had a lot of fun writing because I was able to like deal with some things from the first film that I thought was weird that nobody talked about. Like, you know, Kick-Ass is the first superhero, but he really wasn't. Like, I mean, it really was
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy and Hit Girl.
I agree. I think it was really nice to touch that.
He knew he might.
And the other thing that
Going back.
I wanted to get into was, it actually ends up being one of the funnier moments in the movie because I've seen it with audiences and people always laugh, is the fact that Big Daddy was insane.
Yeah.
Of
Like,
course.
he's just fucking
Crazy,
nuts.
yeah.
And
Total psychopath.
nobody
That's why
talks
Hit
about
Girl's
that
insane.
either. But I love it the way Aaron delivers that line. Everyone laughs when I've seen this.
That was
seen this
perfect
film.
timing, Jeff. Like, he literally said the line immediately when you were done talking about it. That was amazing.
I was actually rehearsing my commentary
Yeah.
before you guys got here so I could make this stuff happen.
Yeah.
Honor to serve by his side.
I love that set. You know, Russell DeRosario was a production designer on the
Yeah.
first film. And for the Safe House, for the sequel, we wanted to do something that was evocative of the first film, but also sort of expanded on the world of Big Daddy and Hit Girl. And I like that because that was sort of like your training Safe House.
Absolutely.
I love this scene. I love this scene for just Chloe's just performance of just.
Being a kid.
I love it because it just goes from playing the bullshit into okay, no bullshit, but give you more bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna cry now with bullshit.
It's just like okay, fuck it.
Here I go. Ready?
Bridge. So now you want to tell me where you really were today?
Not the timing, not as strong.
Nope.
No, yeah, there you go.
I'm really sorry, Marcus. I
Bullshit.
don't want to make
Cut
you
the
mad.
waterworks, man. You're 15, not 5.
Morris.
Damn. I love how he flexes his jaw there.
Is that an acting choice or is that just Morris?
Yeah, I was like, Morris, flex your jaw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut class and go to the mall.
And flex.
And Morris, will you flex your jaw right now?
Oh, what happened?
Ninja Blade.
I gotta say, I hats off to Morris because he came in here and he was taking over this role and he came in with such ease and authority and I felt like he just stepped into Marcus so beautifully
Yep.
and
Did a great job.
personified what it meant to be a guardian for Mindy in such a special way where you get that he needs to lay down the law, but you also get that he really loves her and wants to take care of her.
Hey, you sure you want to give all your moms
And I'm a big
Totally.
fan of his. It's
Oh,
cool that we
this is
got him.
genius. This is
Oh, I'm looking through my mom's.
this is the beginning.
This is the beginning of the motherfucker.
It begins.
Talk about her tits.
You really wanted to show my chest, Jeff. You liked the deep V's,
Clavicles.
clavicles,
Those
collarbones.
deep Keira Knightley clavicles right there.
She was my inspiration for my clavicles. I studied her.
You mean to belong to you, right? Come on, Chris.
I want to put you in a Victorian outfit. In a
Please.
Victorian dress.
You could dress me. You could
God,
be my
look at those.
wardrobe.
They're so deep. I'm freaking out over this.
Oh, Chloe, don't look. Chloe, don't look. This is immature, inappropriate stuff.
This is not suitable for your eyes.
Chris-
Aaron knows all about it though.
Chris, we know.
Aaron's like, oh, those are mine.
That's genius. His look. Then he's like,
Oh, I'll take
hello.
it.
It looks like I don't even know what these might be.
I just took those off set with me. That was not a character choice.
No
That was
one's
like-
ever
I
seen
did
them again.
wish he had those as a weapon, though. At some point, pulled them out, and started whipping me with them.
Yeah,
You know, like
that'd be funny.
just the anal beads come out. I'm like, whoa!
Choking you with them or something, jamming them down.
Right.
Yeah, that's too much.
Oh.
I like this little moment here. We're setting up that there's a little chemistry
my God,
between
his
you
pants
two.
came out.
Getting changed behind a dump.
Look at this.
That's right. Comes out on Flatbush.
Oh.
Great. Aaron, your clavicle's not as appealing as mine.
Not as Keira
Yeah,
Knightley-esque.
sorry.
No.
Oh,
I should have had a hair
boring.
like a.
You know, this
Austin
scene,
Powers.
we're in Toronto outside there, and then we're in London here. We shot those scenes
Wow.
like 2 months
And
apart.
cut to London.
Is that a wig, Aaron?
Wig, no wig.
No wig.
Wig, no wig.
Oh, at first it was a wig.
No, it was no wig
Okay.
the whole time. So we're in Denmark Street in London here, and this alley was totally disgusting. We spent like, what, 4 days here?
I remember the double-decker red buses that kept going behind.
Yeah, and
Everyone.
I kept freaking out. I'd be like, it's another UK bus. And then someone was like,
God.
you know, the sightseeing bus in Manhattan are double-decker red buses. And I was like,
No one.
oh. Aaron's such a badass in this scene.
Yeah.
The whole
stepping it
point
up.
of this scene was to show that, like, Dave can fight now.
Absolutely.
And then
And
he
it's a
gets his ass kicked.
it's a beautiful introduction to Hit Girl as well that I'm hoping crowds will applaud.
Respond
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. I like how we did at the end of this fight sequence, how I talk about Saudi Arabia, how I do that. I'm gonna go Saudi Arabia on your ass and cut your hand off.
Yeah, that was
That was a line read he threw at me 5 seconds before we were done shooting for that day.
that was the final take of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole point of this
Here
was
we
to
go.
show the difference in the fight styles from the first film and this one. This one would be a little more
Totally.
grounded. And then we get the big Hit Girl
Uh-oh.
introduction.
So good.
And you were like crouching down while we did that, right?
Yeah, I was just hiding behind him.
Boom.
She's back.
Yep.
Wow.
There's got to be some applause here, right, audiences?
Oh yeah, people go nuts.
Yeah.
People
I
go
think
nuts.
so.
I'm gonna just go to the two screenings and just be the one person booing.
Yeah.
And this is all Chloe with the nunchucks for the most part.
For the most part, except for that T.
Yeah, that was T.
Me.
T was
me,
fantastic.
You should
me,
talk about
me,
T a little bit.
Me, I will. Talk about her, especially in the entire van sequence she did while actually driving.
Yeah.
If I ever catch you robbing again,
Tom Knight playing our hood. He did a great job, I thought.
Great job.
promise me you're done with your life of crime.
And I love this. It's just a reminder of just how psychotic Hit Girl is. It's like this weird, like,
Crazy ass.
you better be good or I'm going to cut off your hand, and I'm going to cut off your hand.
Well, like you said, her dad was psychotic, so obviously she's gonna be as well.
Well, she learned that whole comic book, like everything's, you know, da 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 da. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's like a Barbie video.
By the way,
game.
that was me saying, stop, get your hands in the air.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's my, like, one thing
Stop,
in the
get your
movie.
hands in the
Yeah,
air.
that's me. We
And
did that in
intern.
Cameo.
Who did that? Is that T?
No, we shot that in New York. We did our aerials in New York, and we had another double. There's probably like 5
You had
Hit Girl
someone run?
doubles. Yeah, we just hired like a girl.
That fall right there was T.
Yeah.
This took a while to find exactly the timing of this.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was tough because there's a lot of pieces going on with T landing the jump and you
This was the
standing
first day in the suit. That's why it looks so fresh.
up. Oh, the first day back
This is the first day ever in that suit.
in the purple.
Really, your first scene, nice.
First scene on.
I like your performance
Oh,
here,
this is
Chloe.
great.
Well, how did the suit change from this film to the first film, like, in your
lot.
opinion? Like,
A
what
lot.
were the things that changed the most?
The color. It became shiny instead of just more of a matte purple. It had now shoulder pads. I also got the cool Tomb Raider leg straps, which I thought were rad.
Yeah, the slung holsters.
And the boots were super sleek, and it changed the entire look of the bottom of it. And the utility belt.
You got the Ducati because you, after the first movie,
Begged.
said you
Like
wanted
requested it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, hey, wouldn't this be cool if Hit Girl had a Ducati?
And it
then
happened.
got
It's just
they
in
got the
there.
Ducati.
It happened.
That is literally why it happened.
so sick.
Yeah.
So sick.
You got power, Chloe.
This was the best. Remember the shot?
Yeah, that's a Texas switch. So
That
we
is
basically
one shot.
we had the stunt
That was
driver pull
sick.
up in the motorcycle while Chloe waited in the garage and then
I
ran
literally
out,
just ran out.
and threw the helmet.
You got my soup?
This is our nice little Ferris Bueller homage.
Yep.
People seem to always get it, which I'm very happy about.
I
Nice.
was crazy jet lag
Ferris
in this
Bueller
scene.
and Kick-Ass are very similar.
I'm gonna get you that soup.
Well, the nap nap is a direct quote
Nap
from
nap?
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, you got
It
hot
is.
that blood, girl.
Oh,
Oh, you see the blood, girl?
Oh.
Busted.
Bitch got caught.
He was a great cop and a hero.
This scene, was so hot on that set with all
I was
those
falling
lights.
asleep under those lights.
It was brutal.
It was
Absolutely
horrible. It was.
brutal.
Oh. And look, I can't even bend my legs in the suit. I had to sit there.
Yeah, they look
I couldn't
fake.
bend over. I was like this. I was like, I can't bend my legs. I can't bend my torso. This damn leather. It was horrible.
But Morris just kills this speech. I mean, it really.
Is this
Look
the
how
moment?
sweaty we are.
Is this the moment you're not Hit Girl anymore?
Yeah, this is where she
Give it up?
decides. And Morris makes it work because, everyone who read the script at first was like, I don't believe Mindy would ever give up being Hit Girl. And I think the way he delivers the speech and the way you guys connect
He's endearing.
in a very real way.
It's really moving. I love this scene, and I think it really sets up the whole next act for Chloe and where she goes in her journey. I think it's really moving.
If this scene didn't work, I don't think your story would work. I mean, the whole movie would fall apart.
Yeah, it's really moving.
It makes it work.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, obviously, calling back to her relationship with Big Daddy. There were rumors that Nick Cage was going to be in the movie. I wrote some flashback scenes for him.
I wish those had happened.
But
Those were great scenes.
ultimately, he didn't do it. But that's why we use the suit. The suit basically
I love
becomes to
that.
represent.
It's
Big
iconic.
Daddy.
It's his
It's like God.
his image.
It's like God just like looming
his spirit,
over the
yeah.
Well,
movie.
it's spectral. It's like his ghost watching her.
Totally.
And I actually think it probably works even better because it's a little
do
bit more ominous, a little bit more open-ended.
Not in your face at all.
Yeah, you don't really understand necessarily what their nature of their relationship is now.
This is a completely British high school.
Oh yeah, this is in London.
It drove
Totally.
me nuts.
And it drove you crazy
I know.
because it said things like lift and stuff like that. And
All the
it-
exit
and
signs
all
around
the
my
exit
doors are
signs.
all wrong. They're all British rather than American.
Look,
And look at those doors, yeah.
they did a
We
great
don't have
job.
those fire doors like that.
They did a great job doing everything they could to make it look like an American school. Our art department was fantastic, but we did keep catching little things that
I don't
would
think
sell
people
it out.
would notice.
They'll never
Oh,
know.
no. Just because we were there, it's the only reason we
Yeah.
noticed. But in the movie, you're watching the scene.
And how psyched are these kids? These are kids that all go to this school.
So
They're like,
cool.
hey, we're going to come shoot Kick-Ass there, and you're going to be in the movie.
So cool.
They were fantastic. We were really grateful to them.
And the first one hit so hard in England. They all knew it. It was so well. It was really cool.
Lindsay, we get to
This
say
is a
goodbye
great
to
line.
Katie in this
She
scene.
needed to be in this. I'm glad that you put
I'm
her in this.
so happy she was in it.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I was adamant. Because what's interesting, I saw the first
This is a
film
great
just,
line right here.
just as a fan. And I loved Lindsay in the first film. And even though she wasn't a big part of the second story, I wanted to have a scene where we finished their relationship.
You have to. You have to.
And I like it sort of in kind of a trite, sort of trivial manner. It's not like this grand finish to a big love story. It's just like, you're a jerk. I'm sorry.
High school.
Yeah.
Total high
It's like,
school.
whoa, you're sleeping with a 14-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Grass in the field play ball.
But what's funny is like, Aaron, the two of you had chemistry even in that one scene. In a weird way, I was sort of thinking like, maybe I should write some new scenes so that we can see what happens with Katie and Dave.
What the hell is
One of my more embarrassing moments on film, right here.
And I don't know why you didn't keep with that look.
I think that's
Why did it
for the whole
transform?
outfit?
That was the one for me. That I was like, damn.
This is more evil and sadistic
It
than
was
the actual
so,
motherfucker outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did it change?
I mean, we wanted to get a little more comic booky with
you want
it.
to get a little more actually scary and intimidating.
I don't know. That is pretty. I like the mask. That mask is crazy.
I like that V, that
I'm a
deep
little
V.
upset that my breasts don't fill out the bra.
Those
I'm
clavicles hit it
flat-chested.
though.
I knew the clavicles were going to come back.
They had to.
Clavicles hit it with that cape. Ugh.
Everyone laughs their ass off when that scene comes up.
They
So
better.
funny.
And then Dave back in the suit, finally.
This was one of the first days.
Yeah.
It's good.
It was so exciting to see you back in that kick-ass suit. That's when I knew we were really making the movie, was when you were in the green suit.
That's funny. Yeah.
Oh,
Donald Faison,
So good.
making his big entrance.
I love Dr. Gravity in this. For
Such a
one
funny
of
role.
like the added superheroes to this movie, I think is awesome. His costume as well is so like jealous because it was so incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's really close to the comic
It
book.
is.
With the costumes, whenever we were working on them, I would talk to Sam, our
Sammy.
designer, and we'd say, look, are we going to do exactly what's in the comic book? Sometimes I would say, I want to do exactly what's in the comic book. She would say, it's not physically possible,
Yeah.
because you can do things in a comic that you can't do in real life. But this is one of the costumes where we
Almost
early on
exact.
said, let's create a costume that looks exactly like the comic. We added the insignia on the chest, which I think is a cool look. But everything, like the zero-G device, I mean, Russell designed that based on the way it was drawn in the comic, and I think it's pretty damn close.
I didn't want to freak you out by bringing it up too soon, you know?
I'll show you his profile.
This was a scene that when people say, "Oh, it was one of your favorite scenes," working on it was one of my most enjoyable ones. And the fight scene that's going to come up. But
Yeah.
Pierre works for my dad.
In many ways, this movie is like about the three of you splitting up and creating new partnerships and new dynamics with other characters. And,
Absolutely.
and just like your
There's
relationship
three cool
here
subplots.
with Chris, with Javier.
Yeah, I'm
that's,
really glad that you wrote and got John in this because obviously Aaron has
But
Dr.
this-
Gravity and Hit Girl, and I have really only him to bounce off of.
Yeah.
It's very needed.
But this was like an imitation almost, or a mirroring of the in the first one when we had the dip and sip fight outside.
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of the first kick-ass fights, and it felt really kind of raw. Like there's some of the same camera equipment we used on the first one for that dip
Yeah,
and
no,
sip
it's
fight
just
we
like
used on this.
the first-person camera, which I used a lot in Never Back Down. I know you guys used in the first Kick-Ass. I wanted to reference the dip and sip fight. by
Yeah, so
putting
you
it
know
in there.
that they built this camera inside kind of a foam ball, and you'd literally, someone would hold it up and you'd punch it, and then you'd let it fall on the floor. So when you get those shots where everyone's getting knocked over, but then the world is kind of going backwards, it's from that camera.
We shot that whole fight in like 4 hours.
Yeah, before the sun came up.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. I
Well,
really
so
had
it's
an
nice
amazing
and
time.
raw,
And you have
you
to
know?
really improvise some of the fight
Yeah.
sequences, and you make it up on the day. It's great.
There's the suit, the big reveal of the suit.
It must be cool for John Romita Jr. to see what he drew come to life in
Yeah.
a movie. That must be really, really, really
Well,
cool.
not just like designs of costumes, but there's actual frames
That you
they're
guys did.
referencing. Yeah, the exact frames from the
That's
comic
so
book.
cool. That must be rad.
Remember you couldn't move your legs in the Hit Girl suit? That's exactly how I feel in this suit.
can't
It's
move.
like my arm is like trying to get it up. It's like, get it higher. Just try not to rip
It's
the suit.
impossible.
It's so hard.
It's impossible.
People love this scene. You're so funny in it, Chris.
It's
And
great. It's funny because like my character thinks he's such a tough badass, and no one buys it. He's like, oh, it's just a
Total
wimp,
dork.
you know? Yeah, just a dork in a suit.
And I had this huge creative conflict with the producers during post because they were
Shit,
like,
the Pepsi.
Chris can't be funny. He's the bad guy. And I was like, don't you understand?
That's what it is.
He wants to be the bad guy so badly.
Yeah.
That's why he's a good bad guy.
And
It's
if you
okay
play
for
it
us to laugh.
dramatically and seriously, the humor comes from that. That's when he first feels the power.
Yeah, I love how excited you are here. Just like,
But yeah, I
Yeah,
love
this
you
is fun.
punching it.
Oh, when I punched the room.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
this is another example of like a scene we basically got 2 takes at it. Everyone thinks like this is a big movie and we had more money and more resources, but we actually had a smaller budget in
Yeah.
the first film. And we had 2 shots at doing this. We drove around the block twice and I was like, okay, we got 2 takes.
Yep.
Let's make it work. And you're
This
amazing. at
suit
it.
is
But that's where you
so
get the best
crazy to wear.
stuff, to be honest, when you do have those 2 takes. Because when you do 50 takes of something, you lose the entire
Starts sounding like a robot,
spontaneity.
yeah.
You lose the spontaneity of a scene.
Trying to use the dad. Your dad would want you here.
Yeah, and I like this scene too because it's just another cross with Mindy and Dave, and finding opportunities to have you guys intersect was the
Together.
challenge because you're on these different paths, but we care about you as a pair so much. So it's nice to even do it via
Did you see that
texting.
mic clip?
No.
That was a pack. That was a pack.
Oh, when you got
That
up?
was a mic pack clip.
Yeah.
On the
Jeff,
back. Did
how
you
could
see
you let
that?
that
No,
slide?
it actually
How
got
did that
flagged.
slide?
It got flagged by the QC people, but it's like I didn't
It's a
have
good
another
take.
take, and I was just like, no one's really gonna notice. Thank you, Chloe. Now everyone will
Oh, I'm
notice.
sorry, guys. It's gonna be on a YouTube clip now. Worst moments.
I'm glad we got the mirror shot in here too because that was something we were supposed to do in your bedroom. It got cut for time reasons,
I'm
and
so happy we fit that
and
in.
actually Eddie Hamilton, the editor, was like, just do it in the living room because it's so important. He
It
insisted.
happened last minute.
Yeah.
I remember we changed a day up. We were like, then you're gonna come to the mirror. I was like, that's why we're going to the mirror.
Yep, and we got it.
This is sick. I love this.
Yeah. Well, Donald is so much fun when he's
Like,
with you,
yeah.
Aaron. You guys have such great chemistry. I'd love to
Yeah.
do like just a buddy movie about the 2 of you
Jim Carrey.
Jimmy!
and the dog.
The dog kills it.
I love the mask on the dog. That was a lot of work designing a mask that would stay on that dog.
I'm sure.
How was it directing Jim Carrey? Such a big movie star. What
It
that
was
like?
exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
it was exciting for me to be directing him. I'm sure it was just as exciting for you guys to be working with him. I mean, he's as big as it gets.
Yeah.
There's Claudia Lee. This scene, watch, you'll see her hair doesn't match at all because I love that line. That was the only take we got of that
Yeah,
line.
I was about to say, what? Yeah, it switches.
Well, because that was an improv, remember?
Right.
Not so much an improv. It's something like we were like, wouldn't it be funny? And like I threw that
Ella.
line at her.
Ella Purnell.
Tanya Fear
Fear.
This scene.
playing
Makes
Dolce
me feel
and Harlow.
uncomfortable.
The best is when you walk into a room and she has herself leaning over her bed.
Yeah, it's so weird.
That always gets a laugh. Yeah, this set is so amazing. I
This
thought
set's
Russell
amazing.
did.
The best line in this scene is when Ella just goes, "Oh my God, right? I'm soaked."
No,
It gets
no.
the response.
It makes me so uncomfortable.
That's so
response-
gross.
It's so
The
grody.
response
It's
in the
so
theater is
makes me
amazing.
uncomfortable.
I
Also, it's
It's
like
so uncomfortable. On
I'm-
set,
How do you write
we
that,
all
Jeff?
felt so disgusting.
Yeah. Well, the challenge was to write three girls
Did
who
you,
were more foul
did
mouthed.
you record? Did you film
did
their
you film
video,
that?
Jeff?
No, I went to the set. A really talented director shot it, and I went and visited the set and just sort of told them what I needed for the
You
film.
did the close-ups of like the abs and the water.
Exactly. I was like, I
But
need
this
more
was-
water.
this is
Only two
different.
ab shots.
So this is Union J, but before it was someone else. Was it?
No, well, we were talking about some different bands.
Just like no. Always
no.
Union J was always.
Look, there's a lot of
Union J.
corporate politics involved with this stuff, and you have to be.
I love it because
be willing
Chris
to,
came up the
you
other
know,
day and was like, "Hey, do
figure
you
it
like
out.
Union
Look at
J?"
that
And I
shot.
was like, "I don't even know who they are." And he's like,
They're
"Dude, they're in the movie." I'm like, "Well, that's good."
They're a very talented group of
handsome young
musicians,
boys.
handsome young men who are making the point. I mean, the point of the scene.
Boys.
By the way, even before it was that other band, it was Twilight. I had you guys watching a clip from Twilight
Yep.
in the script
Oh,
initially.
okay.
The
It was
idea here
in
was
the
that.
script. It was Twilight.
It was Twilight, then it became the Wanted, and then it's just been updated by Union J.
Well, because the idea of the scene was that Dave is so influenced by comic books that he wants to go and do this thing. I wanted to show that young women are just as influenced by pop culture and it affects them just as strongly. So that was the idea, at least.
Every day and
Same as comic books affect young boys. It's that Union J to young girls.
And you play that scene so beautifully when we were pushing in on you, Chloe.
It's so weird to shoot that though. And then we did the close-ups of my hands. Ugh. So creepy.
Jeff,
I
stop
felt
making us
so
feel weird on
disgusted.
set.
You're making me feel very
So-
strange.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Jeff,
kick-ass.
why
We
are
gotta
you
push it,
perv?
right?
Yeah.
I love them.
Oh, they're
They're
so
great.
Monica Dolan, Stephen McIntosh playing Remembering Tommy. You know, in the comic book, they're wearing like armor and they look like Amazons.
Oh,
and
really?
She looks like an Amazon. He looks like a medieval knight.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Can you
watched this
change that?
documentary called Superheroes, which I showed Aaron about real life superheroes, not comic
Yeah,
book fans.
I've seen that. It's amazing.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of actual homages to that documentary here in this film because I thought it was just an interesting idea to ground the movie by referencing these people who really do this thing. So I wanted their costumes to feel a little bit more real and based on some of these characters from this documentary. Insect Man is inspired by a really amazing guy named Z because some of the things he says echo what Z said in that documentary.
I've been bullied my whole life for being gay, so now I stand up for the different.
Robert Ems.
Robert Ems.
I love him. He was the funniest guy.
Yeah, he's super sweet.
Such a nice guy. Aaron, do you have mics in your forehead?
Yeah, can you see the two
Yeah.
on the lines? That's where they put the mics.
I can tell. I
Two
was
mic
like, is those
wires.
mics?
Well, I believe we have to talk about Simon A. Batman setup and you bust him on it.
I'm trying to figure out.
Especially coming after like Lindy Booth as Night Bitch and Robert Ems as Insect Man and Monica and Steven as Remembering Tommy telling these very sad stories and then having Clark
Just break it down.
have this totally
Just like
bullshit
ruin
story.
it. So stupid.
Don't take the Lord's name in
Did his mask have structure in it to make his face look that way too?
Yeah,
Exactly.
It was worked
So
around
his,
the
his
prosthetic.
face did it.
Part of the
nose.
prosthetics.
Okay.
All right.
So
I love the dog. You just hear him whimper.
yeah.
He's so good in this
That's
movie.
such a fun scene, you know? It's like just great to hang out with the team and spend time with them.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, I got a hard time about shooting that big scene in the kitchen, but I wanted to save the reveal of the headquarters for after. But it's interesting, when we shot on this set, we probably spent 70% of our time on that set in that little kitchen area and not nearly as much time in the more impressive part. But we wanted to set up this reveal.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
I love your enthusiasm there,
So
Aaron.
stupid.
He's so excited.
I think you
I
guys
love
just
it.
embrace the
It's
fact that I'm
Dave.
in a gimp mask and a
Yeah.
suit. So then I just I always like being a bit of an idiot and pushing the
Yeah.
boundaries like that.
No, you want it to be exciting. It's like, oh
You
my
gotta
God,
be silly and
I'm
make
on
fun
a
of
team.
yourself because we're all in costumes.
the Olive Garden 2-car blue.
And when you're all joining teams, basically you're joining this group of mean girls. That's sort of the story we're telling is you're all defining yourselves through these different groups that you're joining. The way most high school kids do.
I love how he's wearing the costume underneath that.
Yeah. I
Now,
miss
did
Hicko.
you wear did you wear a shirt like that? It was
Or
just
did you
like
wear
a
the actual
shirt
suit
piece, Or did
underneath?
you wear the whole suit?
I wore the whole suit.
No.
Yeah.
That must have been.
It's the real
Uncomfortable.
real thing, man.
Augustus Prue.
Aaron is very much a method actor. He's gonna wear if he's supposed to be wearing the suit, he's wearing the suit.
Great line delivery there.
That was so good.
We end your life.
He's intense.
Is
The
he actually
goth kid.
intense in real life too?
No,
is he?
no,
Oh, okay.
great actor, very nice guy.
Okay.
The goth kid. That's a moment straight out of the comic book. I think I wrote a different line there, but that idea that it gets bumped by one of your
Oh,
fathers.
this
Oh
is
my God, I
fun.
love
Chuck
that.
Liddell. I don't
Chuck
know.
Liddell.
Did he know that I was gonna call him Chuck Little Dick Liddell? Had he read the script?
I sent him the script. I assume you read it. He was cool. You know that
No, he
belt
was
right
really
there.
nice.
Look, the belt above John's shoulder there. That's actually his championship
Oh,
belt.
nice.
Because we had a fake one, and he brought the real one to London, and we hung it up.
That's sick.
I love this scene. It's so funny.
With Dan Kalula.
Dan Kalula's great, man. I love that kid. We hung out a bunch in Toronto.
During the table read, Chris, when you read the scene,
was really
I was
nice.
laughing so hard.
You couldn't read.
I couldn't read the action.
Street rules, bitch.
You're just so great, man.
Boom.
That looks like that hurt.
Yeah.
And I love that Chuck Liddell did this. You know, I wrote the
It was
script.
so nice of him, yeah.
And I wrote Chuck Liddell in it because I kept looking for ways to show how rich you were and that you could do anything with your
And
money.
get Chuck Liddell if you
And I
wanted
wrote
to.
the script, and everyone involved in production was like, "You'll never get Chuck Liddell. You're gonna have to get someone who's up and coming. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen." And then Chuck Liddell said yes.
He was a fan. We have a mutual friend, and we've hung out a few times, and he was a big fan of the first one.
He's a really good guy and a good sport. I mean, because we shot the scene in London. He came all the way to London just to shoot this scene.
You don't think that's just a little bit incredibly
The
racist?
most famous guys, I guess, are like Chuck Liddell and what is Chuck Liddell? Is Chuck Liddell? He's not WWE. He's like genuine.
He's UFC, babe.
That's like genuine fighting.
That's
right?
genuine, like, they beat shit out of each other.
That's
Yeah,
where they're
he's
bleeding and their ears
He's
are like.
retired now, though, right?
He's retired.
yeah.
That's where, like, because I've watched all those guys fight on TV and they get really, really messed up.
Yeah, no, he's the real deal.
Like, they actually beat each other up.
He's the real deal. And Chris told him he had a little dick and didn't get punched in the face.
Did he laugh about it at
He
least?
did.
Punched
He was a
he
good
punched me
spot.
off camera.
He's a good sport. He was a good sport.
And I'll make sure she puts
This scene, remember, we shot this in London, and we could not find a single gym that had a normal basketball court floor.
Even this doesn't.
Well, no, we had to have this floor laid because all the markings
the
in the
basketball
UK,
court, yeah.
all the markings in the UK, like
But
you guys
even
play
this,
like
like, we
badminton.
usually have windows in our gyms.
Yeah.
This is so funny.
This song is ridiculous.
This song. So the choreographer brought this song in, and it was
God.
so ridiculous.
So inappropriate.
Did she do all that
She's
dance?
like
Did she have a
16.
double? She must have had a
She
double.
did it, but the double is a lot
Look,
of pieces,
Claudia
right?
learned the whole dance,
thing,
and she
yeah.
learned it in like one day. But
No,
for like
no.
the splits or like the
Claudia-
big drop,
That's
She
like
was
that.
amazing.
That's her. That's her double.
All the
That's so
backsides
funny.
are double.
Yeah, all the backsides, the double, and
It's
side
amazing
shots and
though
stuff.
because it
Just to
you wouldn't
perfect
know.
it.
But
It
she
just
could do
goes
the whole
in.
dance.
I
Oh,
was
yeah,
gonna
she
say,
did all.
the whole thing kind of just put together is brilliant. It's so
It's
funny.
so funny. It's
well,
perfect.
got that music video kind of vibe. We even took out all the sound design, so you don't even hear her like the footfalls or the drops the way you would in real life, because we wanted to feel like a heightened sort of music video.
Yeah,
Smart.
slick. Yeah.
Go.
This is great.
This was
Such
a
a fun-
really
I love
hard
this.
sequence because I had 2 hours beforehand to learn this,
Oof.
Yeah.
and I couldn't. I was like, I couldn't.
Well, it's hard because we had to shoot it in pieces because we had Chloe Yu, but in two different costumes, right? Because you had to wear the hit girl costume.
was almost
and
impossible.
the civilian clothes. Then we had two different doubles. We had the gymnast double in your civilian clothes, and we had T and the hit girl.
See, a lot of this is T because I didn't have any time. That's T.
But also some of that stuff is just
That's
hard
me,
to do, like the.
me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Cartwheel
only because she's
flips.
going back double flips, and it's
Yeah,
just
like-
like
And it's also that her suit was twice the size of mine. That way she could kick in it.
But those like
I
flips and
physically.
stuff. That's
Oh yeah,
just
that was another
too hard to
gymnast
do.
too.
And I really
Yeah,
like this
the
song.
song is That's
Danko
sick.
Jones.
Ooh.
And the reason everyone, when this came out in the trailer, everyone was like, "What's up with the ninjas?" And a big reason it's ninjas is that's our whole stunt team, and we couldn't afford to bring in more stuntmen.
right.
So we had our stunt team, who are already in the movie everywhere, just put on ninja outfits so that we could shoot this scene. Ninjas are cool. I like ninjas.
Ninjas are hip.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think if you're imagining who you're gonna beat up, it's kind of funny.
To
Well,
put
also-
something else, yeah.
It's in her mind. So
Because
it's
we
supposed to
see
be
like all
heightened.
these, we also see all these like scary guys. So it's kind of funny to see people in ninja suits because she's a kid.
Yeah, and
You
that's
know?
what she imagines.
It's that through line of her just being 15.
Bases and headquarters on the moon.
So much of your performance, Aaron, it comes through in the voiceover, and I know it was challenging for you because we recorded it like 3 different times, but that was the same thing that happened on the first film,
The
right?
voiceover is great.
oh yeah, the voiceover is crazy because once you change one bit of it and go, oh, actually, it would have been better if he said this sentence, then you have to go back and redo the whole movie because your voice is slightly changed just by an octave, in pitch.
Deserves a visit from Liza.
People always laugh at this moment.
So sick.
Now, you don't want to hit with your clothes.
I love how you covered your hands there, Aaron. That's not even something we talked about, but it showed up in that shot when we were over Jim's head,
Yeah.
and I just laughed my ass off when I was looking at it. And
Just added.
yeah, it just adds another level that like makes the point. It just puts us in your mindset. That's an improv. To shoot all that training stuff,
That was really great.
I just set up the cameras. I said, just start doing some stuff. And I had Jim lead you guys through some calisthenics. This creed, Jim wrote this, you know. I didn't write this creed.
Wow.
He wrote it, and he emailed it to me. He's like, is there a place to put this in the movie? And I was like, I've got the perfect place. It's so much fun hanging out with the full team. You know, in a weird way, I wish we could have had more scenes and more sequences where we're just like spending time with Justice Forever. Maybe we should do a TV show. Would you be up for that, Aaron? Just like an episodic TV show, Justice Forever?
We should have done like a special piece for like SNL just in time with it coming out. It would have been awesome.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's get them on the phone. Make it happen.
Don't let it go to your head.
So we shot that scene like 4 a.m. Remember, it was raining. We weren't even supposed to be in that location.
Night bitch.
Night bitch and
Lindy
kick-ass.
Night bitch. Wearing a bikini.
Does anybody smell a romance? Uh-oh.
Bathrooms.
Different studio toilets that were built. Let's talk about Russell and how he designed these toilets.
They didn't look like American toilets until I was like, Russell! And then he got them perfectly.
And
Yeah, they are American now.
that's the boys' toilets, as you see those urinals. This actually, this was actually one of the very first scenes we ever shot at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, because we were in Toronto at
And
first
it was a
shooting
beautiful
Sears.
long one-taker shot with a steady cam.
Oh, wow.
And we're actually back in the school from the first film.
Such a
really?
hard shot
Yeah.
to get to.
But it's weird because at this point, when it does that, warm, it feels like
A
that
different
could have been a
shot,
cut point.
But
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, so I just want you to know.
the guy was
It could have
sweating.
been.
And then this bit, the sun got in my eyes.
Yeah, but you just play it. It's
I
perfect.
was like, ow.
Ow.
But I quite like that because it's like Jeff said, I played it because it's like that's what Dave's like.
It's just
I
real.
said, there's no room for vanity when you're playing Dave. It's about wacky hair, cuts on your face, spots,
Sun in your eyes.
and being
Being honest.
being honest, being very honest with yourself.
You know I'm right.
Well, I like this scene because it is about being honest with yourself and
I love
who
this.
you are, because he's calling you out. He's calling Mindy out, saying, what you're doing right now, that's not honest. That's not who you really are. And you try to prove him wrong.
Oh, Simon.
I'm so glad you guys were up for that big, long shot because, you know, the movie at times can get really cutty, but it's nice to just take a moment and let it play in real time so you can feel the reality of these people in this space.
It's brave and bold, and it's making decisions like that make it more interesting.
So we have this whole subplot about your dad working out that kind of got cut out of the movie, the setup for it. So it's sort of random that we just cut to him here
Yeah,
doing
I
this
know.
exercise.
That was very weird.
But it was Garrett's idea. You know, Garrett lost like, I don't know, he lost like 30 pounds, 40 pounds.
I didn't think it was his idea. I thought it was more about when it gets to the point of him being framed for being kick-ass, that he needed to look like he could fit in the suit.
Exactly, because originally Garrett was a little bit heftier. When we started playing the movie, we had this plot twist coming up where he's got to be mistaken for kick-ass. So I said to him, I was like, dude, you got to look like you can get in the suit. And to Garrett's credit, he was like, I'm in. And he worked with this trainer from LA named Kenny Trotter, and he lost like 30, 40 pounds.
Wow.
He said it changed his life.
Yeah.
I wonder if he kept it up.
He's an ex-mob enforcer.
I don't know.
You go from that.
Yeah, he has.
Wow.
I've talked to him recently. Yeah, no,
Good for
he's
him.
very healthy and taking care of himself. And such a nice guy and a fantastic actor.
I guess we're about.
Again, this is an example of like piecing it all together because we're on a soundstage in London.
That was green
That's one of my
screen.
favorite shots right there.
Oh, you like this shot of the Colonel
Love
coming
seeing
out?
that, yeah.
Yeah, that's something I came up with in the moment. I was like, we need a cool trailer shot of the
Yeah.
Colonel.
Oh, thinking about the trailer.
And
Watching the
that's
movie.
what was used in the trailer.
That's okay.
I love that line about the Book of Mormon tickets that Lindy delivers there. Always gets a huge laugh, and that was actually a buddy of mine, Matt Portnoy, came up with that line, and
So
it's
true.
so much fun.
How'd you know
Because again, it just puts us back in the real world. It's like, yeah, if I got tickets to Book of Mormon, I probably would skip the little brawl they're about to have.
What's the plan? Are we?
It was so cold that night. Like Aaron, I remember you were shivering
this Toronto or
nonstop.
London?
This is Toronto.
Toronto was really cold when we shot there.
Yeah, but poor Lindy, Aaron, you were freezing in that
Yeah, no,
wetsuit.
Lindy's hardly
got
wearing
no clothes on.
Jehovah's Witness! He's just so genius.
This is Benedict Wong playing Mr. Kim. His commitment to this scene was just unbelievable. You know, the way he really goes for it in the fight scene and the scene with the dog coming up.
Was that your idea to do the comic book writing for this?
Yeah, it was. We were going to subtitle it, and we were talking about different ideas, and I think someone else like pitched putting it in a box, like the meanwhile and stuff. And I was like, no, it should be like a little arrow to the mouse, and I think it's fun. I haven't seen that before in a movie.
Breaking Ground.
Breaking Ground. I'm sure Scott Pilgrim did it. They did everything first.
Yeah. Love that movie.
Scott Pilgrim had all that weird comic stuff they pulled in.
Yeah.
So this actor, his name is King, and he was about the same height as Jim. And Jim was like, he's got to be bigger. So we put him on like 3 apple boxes.
Really?
So he towered over Jim more.
I love Jim's commitment. He's got to be bigger.
Oh, dude.
It makes sense.
Yeah. No, he was like, we have to sell that, we're scared in the moment before the Colonel hits him for the first time.
Tell you about taking the Lord's name in vain.
Sorry, sir.
Eisenhower? At the ready.
And Jim, he would just come up with such amazing ideas, like this line coming up here that's in all the trailers, right?
Line reads are sick.
Right here. That was an improv, not in the script. He just came up with that on the set, and it's such an iconic moment now for that character. So to do this shot here, we actually put a hydraulic ram under the table.
So good.
To send
everything
in there. Yeah. And that's a direct reference to the comic. That exact frame is in the comic book, and it's so memorable. I wanted to do it in the film. This fight was so hard to shoot because there were so many people.
Things going on.
Oh, yeah. It's like you do choreography for everyone, but the camera's not pointing at everyone all the time. So I came up with this concept that the camera's in the middle of the room, and it's like spinning around, catching different moments of the fight, so that we didn't have to do choreography for characters when we weren't looking at them.
It's really smart. Saves time, too.
Yeah, and it also makes you feel like you're in the middle of the fight with them.
Must be really great getting the comic book, because it's almost like someone's already storyboarded the movie in a way.
It's a weird mixed blessing because you get iconic images like the one on the table, but then there's other things in the comic book that you just can't do in real life or you can't get away with.
Right.
And you have to figure out ways to sort of bridge the gap.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the challenge of a movie like this is the adaptation process.
It's very rude. Come on.
That axe handle in the mouth, that's a direct reference to the comic book too. It's not actually an axe handle though in the comic. I think it's like a pool cue or something like that.
Oh, so what he's using is an axe handle?
Yeah, that's an axe handle. That was an idea I had. I said he should have this like axe handle, and Russell designed it. That's our dog, Senna.
There's a dog on your balls.
Actually, and that was a hard thing to do. It's like how do you shoot this? How do you train a dog to clomp down on someone's balls? So it's actually, there's a trainer wearing the outfit, and you have a dog toy, and you get the dog all excited, and then you put the dog toy into this like special pouch sewn on the pants.
Yep.
And it's like a big game. You're like, come on, Senna, come on. Like you make it into a game, and everyone is miming.
Senna, that's a beautiful
When
name.
you see the dog, like in the wide shot, everyone's miming. No one's actually speaking because you don't want to scare the dog.
Right.
Like, so everyone's
Poor dog
miming
is just
there
sitting
right
there
now.
on that guy's balls.
Yeah, but it's like a big game to the dog because he's on.
Right.
Poor dog. Poor Benedict Wong. He has a dog on his balls, dude.
He's doing all right. He's got a good role in this movie.
He's great in the film. I'm so grateful to him. I mean, he just went for it in the fight. He was throwing himself across the table.
We're shutting you down.
I love Jim's intensity there. This music cue here, I have to say, Matt Martin, our composer, wrote this cue, and it's one of my favorite cues in the movie because it's just so heroic and emotional, and I love this connection that Lindy has with this actress here. You get why they're superheroes. Like, they're actually making the world a better place in this moment. Like, I think you can just feel it there. We're selling it. It's not a joke.
You need those heartfelt moments.
Yeah, it's not a joke. And then the connection you have here with her, Aaron, it's just like, I'm in it. Like, they're actually making the world a better place.
Very tidy. Very tidy.
Team back together in the van, feeling good.
So who's driving the van?
So the idea is that Insect Man is driving the van.
Oh, okay.
Because he's not back there.
Right,
I did think about this.
Okay. I always wondered that in the movie. I was like, well, who's driving?
Yeah. Well, an important plot point there that the gun has no bullets in it because the Colonel is anti-firearm.
I always liked that.
Yeah. I like this is a fun transition back to Chris.
What happened? Some juice?
We're back. This is your favorite scene, Chris, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember these naked women really wanted to take a picture with John and myself, but they wanted to be naked in the picture. But they wanted to take a picture with us, and John's got a wife, and I got a girlfriend, and I was like, we cannot be taking pictures with your big boobies.
They were very nice. The whole point of that scene was, again, to show the excess in Chris's life and how far...
And how far, yeah, that you can just pay money for dirty hookers.
When he wants every
That one girl was so tanned. Oh my
Damn girl, she
god.
tan.
Big Tony doesn't know how to lay low, so he's in.
I don't remember. Big Tony's huge.
He's ironic.
The makeup
I love
artist
this.
Faye Hammond actually told me that those girls showed up
He's like
that.
a little Joe
Yeah.
Pesci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Makeup
genius.
done,
Now,
everything done.
these guys, what was fun for me, in the comic book, the bad guys aren't really fleshed out at all. They're
Yeah,
just a
no,
gang.
really.
So I got to create names and personas for these
Johnny
characters.
Romita did that art, right?
So I came up with the tumor and Genghis Carnage, and John drew them.
yeah.
so
it's so good to have his art in the movie.
Yeah,
He's
it's-
got art in the first one as well, so it's a good callback.
It's like a dream come true for me to think of a character and have John design it
Yeah.
and draw it.
He's one of the best.
And
Yeah.
here's our
love this.
introduction of Mother Russia,
Mother Russia.
who has a different look than the comic book. We went more for kind of an Ivan Drago, Bridget Nielsen kind of
Dolph
vibe.
Lundgren.
Yeah.
And motherfucker both on the same.
But I love the costume too. It's so iconic,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Now it has a very sort of comic booky vibe, even though it's a different look than what's actually in the comic book.
That robe is pretty ridiculous.
I love that robe.
You love that? Do you still have it?
No, I don't. I wish. The logo is so cool. Russell
Oh, that's
designed the
right.
logo.
Yeah.
And this is an important moment here too, because we're setting up that he's the only thing keeping your feet on the
Yeah. I
ground.
have no father, no mother. This is the only family that I have left.
Call me your fucking butler.
I love how you sell the joke. That always gets a laugh.
Yeah, I like working with that guy.
Yeah, you guys were so much fun together too. It's all about these pairs.
Yeah.
Kick-Ass and Gravity, Chris and Javier, Mindy and
Mindy alone.
Mindy alone in
no
many
one.
ways, but Mindy Marcus is really the central dynamic for
Mindy
your
Marcus.
story.
Yeah. And Mindy and Dave.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, it's about bringing them back together.
With all our new members, it seemed kind of shitty not to ask Tom.
I love this. He just reverses the color
He
scheme.
just has no creativity. He just has no idea what to do.
That was an idea I pitched Sammy, because in the comic book he has more of sort of a gimp look, but you kind of own that look in this movie, Chris. So I thought,
Right, yeah, you can't do it again.
because in the comic book he does do this thing, ass kicker. He wants his name to be just like Kick-Ass's. So I was like, well, his costume should be similar to Kick-Ass's too,
Man.
It's almost exact.
except it's like a leotard instead of
know.
a
Yeah.
wetsuit.
It's like a gymnast.
You can't just copy Dave's name, you knob gobbler.
This bit about Frog Eye was all Clark Duke. He came up with that on the set.
I figured it sounds like a Clark joke. He's so,
So
good at
funny.
improvising, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
brilliant at improvisation.
Ass kicker.
That's straight out of the comic book. Mark Miller.
Seriously.
So funny.
Dick, Marty. I know this is why you guys aren't texting me back. I'm not an actual idiot.
And this is actually a different bedroom for those of you who've noticed than the bedroom Dave had in the first movie, because we went to actually, we tried to get the original house, but they had changed the front, so it didn't even look like the house anymore. So I was like, well, we just have to say that they moved. So anyone wondering, Dave and his dad have moved.
Really wanted on the team was Mindy. But she was too busy trying not to be a superhero.
Okay, man.
How did you find Augustus Prue for this? Just auditions?
Yeah, we just, Evan Peters played the role in the first film, and Evan was in my last movie. He's the only actor that I had
I
worked
remember
with
that, yeah.
before.
That's
He was in
funny.
Never Back Down, and he was
He's so
shooting.
good.
He's great. He was shooting American Horror Story, so he wasn't available. So Augustus came in and read for me, and he's so fantastic.
Yeah,
And
it's a
just
small
did-
world because he's a buddy of mine from ways back.
Oh, really?
You're
Yeah.
going to meet your friend, and you've worked with him before, too, Aaron.
And he just stepped into it and made it his own. My
Yeah.
hat's off to him, because that's not an easy thing to do, and I thought he
No,
did a
it
great
isn't.
job. I love this scene because we have so
One
much.
of the first nights in Toronto.
Yeah, we have so much hope for Mindy, and that this might work out, and that she might have a normal life.
Totally.
And I think we actually, for a moment, think maybe she will.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Unfortunately for her, she's gonna get date ditched.
Date
Yeah.
ditch. This
We
scene was
had
different in
so
the script.
Is that a real thing,
We
or
had
did
so
you
many
make
different
that
things.
up?
I made that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like date
Yeah,
ditch.
I made
Date
that
I was
up.
like, whoa.
I think
What was
originally I called it the bitch ditch.
You did. And it
My
was
good
weird.
friends Chad and Derek Creasy worked on the script a
Oh,
little
the
bit for
Creasys,
me.
the-
Yeah,
oh,
they're
they're so
fantastic
good.
writers. So while we were prepping, I needed just a little bit of help, so they came on for a week, and
Brought in some
they changed it to
great
Date
jokes.
Ditch. Yeah,
Date
a lot of the jokes are theirs.
A lot of really, really good hit girl jokes because they were a bit more female centric, which
Well, they wrote that
Worked
script,
on more.
Aaron and Sarah, that is really fantastic.
Great
It's on the
script.
blacklist.
So originally in the script, though, this was when she gets date ditch, she
Totally different.
breaks their arms and
Yeah,
kind of,
originally there was a scene where it was going to be some guys who were going to, I think, beat her up.
I
or
like
something
that. I thought it
darker.
was so funny, man.
know.
And she sticks a 40 ounce at one guy's ass.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, what? But it was so hit girl that
Yeah.
it was like, I remember that.
It
Really.
was a little intense. And I
It
think
wasn't-
oh, I know what it
intense.
is.
It was
It's
big.
because Claudia's character starts a rumor that
she's easy.
that she's easy, and
So
the guys
they
are like,
try
we're gonna
and
make your
gang-
biggest
they
fantasy.
try-
Which is just a little too intense. I thought it would be more
was dark.
interesting. I thought it'd be more interesting
It's
to
pretty
tell a
dark.
story that had
was very
emotional stakes and not physical stakes. Because like
This
the
is good.
action at the end of the movie has physical stakes. So I thought it'd be nice to have some heightened emotional stakes here and really break Mindy's heart.
It's also such a beautiful scene because you have those headlights coming through and stuff. It's so pretty in the dark woods and special in you. And
Yeah, it's got a great look. Tim Morris-Jones was our DP. Pat Sweeney was our gaffer, and I thought they did an amazing job throughout the film. But this is a particularly beautiful scene, and Claudia's great in this scene. I
Yeah,
mean,
she is.
We saw
Claudia's amazing because she looks like that. I've seen that whole face and look and everything in like tons of those.
but she's not like that in real life at all.
Oh no, she's not. She's a really nice girl, which is funny because she plays the whole bitch Barbie doll, whatever that high school thing is, so incredibly well. Because it just
And we saw so many girls for that role, and Claudia just
oh
crushed
yeah,
it.
And you're great in the scene too, Chloe.
This moment right here is probably my favorite Mindy moment in the whole movie.
That's
Just
the
this
most,
like
we
extended
added
push
that.
in. Yeah.
It wasn't even meant to happen.
I've never seen Hit Girl like that before. That sad and
Vulnerability.
vulnerable.
But again, that's why it was important to get away from the fight and come up with a scene that had emotional stakes.
Because that was the whole point about Hit Girl in the second movie is that you saw in the first movie all about Hit Girl. You never saw Mindy. You never really understood who Mindy was, and that was really the main point about this character in the second film is to show who the girl is behind the mask. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and you did it so well in that moment. I mean, I just...
and then
And this is
a
reshoot.
wig.
Wiggy.
Here we are with another episode of Wig,
My
No
hair's
Wig.
fake. His hair's fake. Oh my god. And that shirt.
This
is
shirt always gets a laugh.
amazing because everyone understands it.
It always gets a laugh.
Or I thought it could also be I am not a reboot. Like
I'm not a robot.
yes.
Yeah.
I actually
am
have...
not a reboot.
I have a version of that shirt, and someone asked me if it said, why do you have a shirt on that says, I hate robots?
No,
I was
exactly.
like, no, because it doesn't.
Just read the shirt.
Some people, they just don't look. They scan. This is a good scene, though.
Well, because it solidifies the connection between you two, and I think it sets up that there is some real chemistry between you, that
There's
you could be
something there.
developing a crush on Dave, and that, Dave sincerely cares about
It's
you.
an intimate scene.
Yeah.
You know? They're so close, and
This is your life.
she's showing for the first time emotion to him because the whole time she just tries to like be super cocky and
Well, you're vulnerable, and
yeah.
you do that so well, it just lets everyone in. We see that you're not just this like super tough badass that can kill anyone with their
She's a
finger.
kid.
Yeah,
she has no
she's
dad.
vulnerable.
She has no family. Dave's the only thing that links her to her past, and understands, truly understands.
And Aaron, you were so, I just think, tender and sensitive in this scene, and just supported her in a way.
So what should I do? Cut their tongues out?
No, definitely not.
Fucking with you.
I love
Much
this
is there?
movie.
It's supposed to be
it.
Highlander. Like there is a scene in
I love
Highlander where he
that.
just like
I know.
strides through the battlefield, and
Love that.
that's what
I
was
love that
going
because
for.
that's just a reference to earlier. It's just like I can kill someone with their own finger,
Yep.
and then
I know.
we see it. So
That
it's
eyeball
genius.
has a lot of blood in it.
Cold face.
Here comes the epic battle.
Boom. And what I do like is that the character of Hit Girl in this movie, she never shoots a gun in the entire film, which is kind of interesting. That we never see her actually use them.
We wanted to take it to another level and show that she's
Yep.
proficient
Doesn't
in
need 'em,
all
yeah.
different kinds of
That
weapons.
she can, because in the first film, all I really use is guns. So it's nice to see this. It's actually a lot more hand-to-hand combat.
And it's not like she's eschewing firearms. I mean, she's got them and she's ready to use them. It's just that she can use a
No.
lot of different tools.
I like that she just is
Hold him down.
more talented than that.
Cuts look like.
And I like that Chris is like becoming a little bit of an equal for Dave here. I mean, obviously he's using his evil followers to have a greater advantage. But, you're holding your own with Kick-Ass.
Nicely done, sweetheart.
We've got the axe handle back as sort of like a nice
yeah.
resurrection beat for the Colonel.
Stuck to gravity.
Show that Donald can handle himself.
Gravity.
That's all you got.
Well, again, we were like trying to think of ways where we could show that these heroes are capable. And if he's got his zero-G device
That
rigged
would
up,
hurt. That would hurt so much.
Yeah, it would.
That makes him more capable. Want to pay off the 6 stick
This
too.
is funny.
A redeeming moment for Todd.
Yeah. Bring it back into the fold.
And the goth kid.
Oh, that is him.
Yeah. It's like someone set all this stuff up.
Yeah, it's like someone wrote this script.
Yeah. Thanks. Ass kicker.
I hope that there is a 6 stick invented eventually.
Ugh, I don't.
Would it be great? Like someone like cuts you off and
Someone
like a line.
told me the other day that they
And I say that,
wanted,
yeah. If I'm not getting sick, then that's okay.
they wanted an app to where you could put the number in on the phone and it turns your phone into a personal 6 stick. Disgusting.
There's an app. There's an app for
It's a
that.
disgusting idea.
Look, there's your portrait. There was Chris's portrait in
Yeah.
the background. I love that.
I remember they
detail.
wanted
Such a cool-
Johnny Ramita to draw it originally, right? But
Yeah.
he just didn't have the time.
Well, and also we went for something a little more lifelike, you know, because John has such a cool, iconic comic booky look that we wanted something that felt more like almost like a Caravaggio. I love that just getting
love
rid.
that.
By the way, that's a pose straight out of one of the comic book variant covers where Kick-Ass is jumping with his feet behind him, and that was your idea, Aaron. You're like, I gotta jump just like this.
That's so
All right.
crazy.
Olga.
And
I
this
love
is
this.
tea.
Look at that one shot.
That's a real crash
Through
of
that
tea
wall.
So that
and then
glass
digital
table-
face replacement.
But that glass table was made of candy glass. We set it up. They started setting
Still
it up at
cut.
3 in
Oh,
the morning.
yeah.
3 in the
Cut.
morning, and we only had one shot, basically, to do it.
Yeah.
If it didn't work, we were going to have to try
Yeah,
again
but
the
didn't
next
they
day.
set it up and put it perfectly on top and the whole thing shattered and then they had to re-put it all back
No,
together?
no. There was always a danger of that because it was made of breakaway glass, so people couldn't talk loudly around it. Like it was really intense and difficult.
No, people.
The little shards of
both
sugar
our
are
heroes.
so sharp.
Oh, yeah. Here we see both our heroes about to die.
Hit girls in the signature move.
The leg
It's
lock.
all over.
Bad guys actually won.
Here comes the needle, the last resort.
You think you kill me?
It's great.
Think you can kill me with little needle?
But, you know, when I saw this with an audience
This is
last
so
week, people
funny.
actually like gasped. They thought that we killed Hit Girl.
Well, because I mean, Jim Carrey dies. All bets are off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I love this though. So sick. And this,
Ew, gross.
right?
That's what it's for.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's reshoots.
So that is right
That's
there,
reshoots.
that
Boom.
moment, because we had to spell it out that it was adrenaline.
Ball kick.
Cheap shot.
Ball kick.
You need a good ball kick in an action movie.
There's lots of ball kicks in this movie.
This is sick. So cool.
Well, this is an homage to what happens in the comic book because she kills her with glass shards in the
Yeah.
comic.
Disgusting.
Again, it's in Times Square, but I wanted to do something similar to that here.
That's the coolest is how she kicks the shards up and catches them in midair.
Yeah.
Totally. That's so sick too.
Well, in the comic, she takes her head off.
That boom. Sick.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's sort of a reference to the corridor sequence in the first film when she threw up the clips.
Love that shot too. Underneath the glass.
Yeah. This is a big debate, you know, about should Dave just let Chris fall because Chris has done these terrible things. And my point was, no, Dave
He's
is
a
a
good guy.
hero at the
He's
end of the
kick-ass.
day.
Spider-Man never kills anyone, you know? He always puts them away.
I mean, he wants you to, like, he's interested in justice and he believes that you should be punished
absolutely.
for what you've done. But, you know, his instinct is he's not going to let you fall to your death because
He's a hero.
He's a good guy.
It's not a comic book. It's real life.
Also, just before that, you saw Hit Girl say the C word again, but geniusly in Russian
Yeah.
and written because it was like everyone's wondering, oh, it's cute. It's the second one. Is she gonna say the cunt word? And then it's just like, yeah, it's a nice little twist. So and nice as having that way.
Yeah.
Chris, you played this so perfectly. Like you realize your own mortality
Yeah.
mid-fall.
I'm like, oh, wait, I am actually going to die. But nope.
Well, that's what we do. I mean, we keep switching it up on you. And again, some people were like, can you keep switching it that many times?
This
You know,
is a nightmare.
switch it
Being
3
suit
times in a
that
fall.
water. Yeah.
How'd you not drown?
I had a man underneath the water.
Oh.
Kind of
I
chilling
was
on
gonna say
it.
because that suit
Yeah.
would literally
Oh,
weigh
it
you
was
down.
so hard. Later.
The feeling was indescribable.
Yeah, but you made it work, Chris. I mean, you were exhausted, but
Yeah.
it also kind of worked for the moment.
Supervillains.
I love seeing the heroes handcuffing the bad guys. We understand that they were there for a purpose, to stop the evil army.
And that good does win in the end.
When I first put on this mask,
Good shot. Harkens back to the end when I tell him in the first movie that my name's Mindy.
Yeah, I mean that was the idea. Invoke that,
nice.
but then bring the whole team back into it and say like it's more than just about what you two have done together. It's that you've done it with a group.
Like heroes. We should act like heroes.
This is my last day on set, right?
Yeah.
This is my last day on set,
Yeah.
which is nice because I actually got to do the end of the movie on the end of the movie, which
rare.
you never get.
You know we can never do this again.
Get to see the team all together. The Colonel's axe handle again,
Yeah.
giving him a nice resurrection beat.
One last time.
And I also think it's nice that Night Bitch says, he'd be proud of you, Dave, right? Again, because it's referencing the end of the first film when you use your real names. It's like,
Daddy,
this is who you really are. You are a hero. And that was all Lindy's idea to actually do that.
Justice forever!
The Ducati.
the
Did you get
Ducati.
the Ducati?
Get to keep it.
Matthew, if you're listening to this, I want my Ducati.
I want my Mustang from the first movie.
It'll never happen.
Never gonna happen for either of us. He has it.
This was early on, right?
Yeah, we shot this in Toronto.
So annoyingly, paparazzi shots got it the minute it happened.
Ugh.
And released the pictures day of. So the entire one of the biggest twists.
Yeah, it was.
Just was leaked so
ruined.
early on.
But at
Everyone
least
was
it's in the movie. You know how hard I had to fight to get this in the movie? Because,
I think it works really well too. It's not weird.
a lot of people were like, it can't be in the movie. And I was like, no, the whole point is their relationship. It's all about Dave and Mindy and
It's
their
all
connection.
building up to that, you know?
And she's got a crush on him. It's her first kiss.
It's gotta be kick-ass.
Yeah. Well, you guys played it so perfectly. I mean, this close-up here where you come back down onto the motorcycle, Chloe, and you just sort of realize what you've done.
Mm-hmm. And how
It's so
everything changed
beautiful,
from there, yeah.
but it's so innocent,
Be nice or rip your ass out through your mouth.
which sets up that line so well.
Very hit girl.
Yeah.
She would ruin a moment, wouldn't she?
When Mindy left, that's when
There's a big debate about how to end Hit Girl's story, because in the comics she goes to jail.
Just like it had to eventually happen.
And I like that it's... Well, this is like a
That's what they just set
self-imposed exile, and I think that sacrifice changes Dave, and that's why that's what starts this whole voiceover. And he realizes, where his life is going, that, he wants to be a hero like Hit Girl.
Yeah.
And we don't know where she's going. She's off into the great beyond, leaving the city.
Superheroes
We had
exist in the
one chance to get that shot on the helicopter. It was such a nightmare. That day the sun came out for about 5 minutes.
real heroes.
There's Donald again.
In a wetsuit playing dress up.
We're genuinely back in our safe house. This is the second time we shot this too.
Nice.